Hey, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's raw, real, and frankly, long overdue for a hard-hitting conversation. It's the kind of thing that gets whispered about in private, over braais, or late-night chats, but rarely shouted from the rooftops. Because, let's face it, speaking truth in South Africa can get you labeled faster than you can say transformation. We're talking about the human resource failures strangling this country's economic growth, and specifically how they're crushing minority, white South Africans under the weight of racial laws that were supposed to fix the past but have instead obliterated the present and jeopardized the future. Get ready because this one's going to sting, and it should. Just imagine this. You're a white South African parent in 2025. You've worked your tail off, maybe running a small business or clocking long hours to keep the lights on. Your kids are your world, and like any parent, you want them to have a shot at a decent life, good education, a job they can be proud of, a future in the country you all call home. Sounds simple, right? Except it's not. Because from the moment your kids hit high school, they're up against a system that doesn't just ignore them, it actively pushes them out. The National Student Financial Aid Scheme, NSFAS, forget it. Most white families don't even bother applying. They know the score, race comes first, need comes second, and merit? Well, that's not even invited to the party. Financial aid, bursaries, internships, trainee programs, they're all funneled toward historically disadvantaged groups, a term that somehow never includes poor white kids, no matter how desperate their situation. Let's be clear, this isn't about denying the horrors of apartheid or pretending historical inequalities don't exist. Apartheid was a grotesque injustice, and its scars still run deep. But here's the thing, when you fight one wrong by creating another, you're not fixing anything, you're just swapping victims. Affirmative action and broad-based black economic empowerment, BBBEE, introduced with promises of leveling the playing field, have morphed into a sledgehammer that smashes opportunity for white South Africans, particularly those from middle and working class backgrounds. The narrative that every white person is lounging in a Sandton penthouse, sipping champagne from generational wealth, is a lazy lie. There are white families living in shacks, white kids going to bed hungry, white parents selling their homes to pay for university fees because the state won't lift a finger to help them. In 2025, Stats SA data show that the official unemployment rate is 32.9%, the expanded rate at 43.1%, and poverty remains rampant with roughly 63% of the population in poverty. While white poverty remains much lower, periodic studies suggest tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, still struggle to meet basic needs. That's not privilege, that's a crisis. Yet, because of their skin color, they're invisible to a government obsessed with racial quotas over actual need. Now let's talk about what happens when these kids, your neighbor's kids, grit their teeth, push through, and graduate. They're not studying interpretive dance or basket weaving, they're earning degrees in engineering, IT, medicine, actuarial science, fields South Africa desperately needs. The government itself admits we're facing a critical skills shortage in STEM with a deficit of over 30,000 engineers. So, you'd think these graduates would be snatched up, right? Wrong. The job market is a minefield of racial gatekeeping. Public sector jobs? Practically off limits, unless you fit the demographic representativity mold. State-owned enterprises like Eskom and Transnet? Don't even dream about it. Municipalities? Good luck. The Employment Equity Act demands that employers mirror national racial demographics, roughly 80% black, 9% colored, 8% white, 2% Indian, regardless of qualifications or experience. The result, white graduates, even those at the top of their class, are sidelined. Meanwhile, Eskom's rolling blackouts cost the economy 4 billion rands a day, and Transnet's port inefficiencies have shaved about 1% off GDP growth annually. This isn't transformation, it's sabotage by spreadsheet. And here's where the sarcasm kicks in, because you've got to laugh to keep from crying. South Africa, in its infinite wisdom, would rather import foreign engineers than hire the homegrown talent it's spent decades educating. In 2024, the government relaxed immigration rules to attract skilled professionals from abroad, even as local graduates, many of them white, pack their bags for Australia, Canada, or the UK. Between 2015 and 2023, over 260,000 South Africans emigrated, with a disproportionate number being highly skilled professionals. A 2022 study by the South African Institute of Race Relations estimated that white South Africans, despite being just 7.3% of the population, accounted for nearly 40% of skilled immigrants. Why? Because countries like New Zealand don't care about your skin color, they care about your CV. Meanwhile, back home, we're too busy ticking racial boxes to notice the brain drain bleeding us dry. Let's talk about the businesses too. White South Africans, denied government support, often turn to entrepreneurship. They bootstrap, borrow, hustle, building companies from nothing. But the moment they succeed, the state swoops in with its BBBE scorecard, demanding they hire, promote, or partner based on race, not merit. The Public Procurement Policy Framework Act ensures that government contracts, worth around 1.1 trillion rands annually, are effectively closed to white-owned businesses unless they jump through racial hoops. A 2023 report by the Institute of Race Relations highlighted how set-asides and pre-qualification rules systematically exclude white-owned firms, even when their bids are cheaper and better. The result? Billions wasted on subpar contracts handed to politically connected firms with little capacity. Look at the SOE bailouts, over 500 billion rands since 2009, propping up failing entities while competent businesses are locked out. It's not empowerment, it's cronyism dressed up as justice. And don't get me started on the CCMA, the Commission for Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration. If you're a white business owner, it's your worst nightmare. Fire an underperforming employee who happens to be black? You're hauled before a tribunal faster than you can say unfair dismissal. The system is rigged, not on paper, but in practice. The presumption of guilt hangs over white employers like a guillotine, and employees know it. Chronic lateness, insubordination, shoddy work, doesn't matter. The CCMA's track record shows it sides with employees in racial disputes, regardless of evidence. It's a system that breeds entitlement, punishes accountability, and makes running a business feel like navigating a legal minefield. Here's the kicker. When white South Africans finally say enough is enough and decide to leave, the government doesn't just let them go, it tries to trap their money. Look at Mark Shuttleworth, who fought all the way to the Constitutional Court to move his legally earned wealth out of South Africa, only to be slapped with a 250 million rands exit levy. The message is clear: you're free to leave, but your assets belong to us. It's not just unfair, it's predatory, and it's driving away the very people who could rebuild this country. The anger here isn't about clinging to privilege, it's about being punished for existing. White South Africans aren't asking for handouts, they're asking for fairness, for a chance to compete, for their kids to be judged on their grades, not their race, for their businesses to win contracts based on quality, not quotas. Their taxpayers contributing over 70% of personal income tax despite being a minority, yet they're treated like second-class citizens. They're told their poverty doesn't count, their skills aren't needed, their contributions aren't valued, and when they dare speak up, they're silenced with accusations of racism or entitlement. That's not justice. That's betrayal. After 30 years, these racial laws, BBBEE, Affirmative Action, the Employment Equity Act, haven't corrected the past. They've created new injustices, entrenched new elites, and gutted the economy in the process. Inequality is worse now than in 1994, with the Gini coefficient still stuck around 0.63, among the highest in the world. Unemployment sits at 32.9% officially, 43.1% expanded, and racial divides are as stark as ever. The system isn't working for anyone, not black South Africans who are still trapped in systemic poverty, nor white South Africans who are being squeezed out of their own country. It's time to admit it. These policies are a failure. They're not building an inclusive future. They're destroying it. South Africa can't afford to keep bleeding talent, punishing merit, and rewarding cronyism. If we want economic growth, we need a system that values competence over color, results over rhetoric. That means scrapping these race-based laws and replacing them with policies that uplift based on need and reward based on ability. It means opening procurement to all businesses, regardless of ownership. It means funding education for every poor student, not just those who fit a racial profile. It means building a meritocracy where everyone has a shot, not a rigged game where the outcome is decided before the whistle blows. This isn't about turning back the clock. It's about moving forward. It's about recognizing that you can't fix discrimination with more discrimination. You can't build unity by fostering resentment. And you can't grow an economy by alienating the people who drive it. For how long will South Africa let these racial laws destroy its future? Until the last engineer boards a plane? Until the last business shuts its doors? Until the tax base collapses entirely? Enough is enough. It's time to end these policies, not in another 30 years, but now. So, here's my call to action for you, the viewers. If this resonates, if you're tired of seeing South Africa's potential squandered, do something about it. Join our channel membership to support these conversations. We need to keep them alive. If you can, hit that super thanks button to help us keep the lights on. Let the ads play for at least 30 seconds. It's a small way to fund the fight for truth. And most importantly, subscribe, like, share, and comment. Let's get this out there. Let's start the conversation that South Africa's been too afraid to have. Because if we don't speak up now, we might not have a country left to save.